Hi, everyone, and I hope you've enjoyed the insights that you've seen today. It's been great to hear from Rob how F5 is investing even more to enhance the NGINX project. Now, probably the world's most popular open source project. The number of application designers and developers that are using NGINX today just continues to grow at an amazing exponential rate. And with the additional focus of this project, this looks like it will even continue to grow more. I'm Norbert Kiss, and I had the pleasure of being the first person on the ground for NGINX here in the Asia Pacific region. We built a small team to initially find out how we can support and participate the NGINX community. We looked at how we can add value and create both open source and commercial products that can assist our customers in this rapidly growing region. It's been really an incredible journey. I've seen some amazing changes in companies going through their own digital transformations. Some of them because they needed to survive in their industry, some because they wanted to have a technological edge on their competition, and some just to provide what the demanding customers are expecting today, an always-on, scalable, and secure application experience. It's just the table stakes these days to stay relevant. It's probably been the fastest paced and most exciting times in my career so far. And I've been on this journey with many of you. When I started watching NGINX some time back, there were 31 million public domains using NGINX at its core. And I remember thinking back then, wow, what an incredible number, 31 million websites and domains using NGINX as its core technology. And you know, that was, now I look at it, that was really humble beginnings. That number is now approaching 500 million. That's 500 million domains using NGINX as part of its core technology. It's become a technology which almost the entire internet relies on today. And I've been in this industry longer than I want to admit, a long time. I've seen change, that's the constant. But what I've witnessed in the last 2 or 2.5 years has been nothing short of amazing. I've seen people just like you take their organizations through such rapid change in very, very uncertain times, with pressure from all angles to deliver amazing things in very short spaces of time. I have not seen the application environment and the associated technology move faster than it has since the outset of this pandemic. Research actually shows that 80% of consumers will change their behavior to digital first as a result of what we've gone through and what we're going through during this pandemic. And although I acknowledge that this change was probably already in motion, it has certainly accelerated rapidly in the last 2 years. Certainly my own personal habits have changed dramatically in the last 2 years. So globally, we've seen some incredible shifts. 79% of consumers have purchased groceries online. That's up from 19% just in April last year. And there were 300 million Zoom meeting participants in April of 2020 in that month. That's a 30 times growth on the same period last year. Imagine being in Zoom and having to scale that application so quickly. And 60% of all consumer interactions are now digital, and that's almost double from the year earlier. I mean, what a pace of change that is. These are unprecedented. So everyone, every company, every government has had to adapt at lightning pace and at scale that we've never seen before. Governments have had to adapt to care for their constituents and their citizens. Companies have had to adopt to stay competitive and continue to serve their customers, and developers have had to adapt and learn to scale their applications at pace and securely. And what amazing few years it's been. If you take just one moment to stop and reflect, to look back on what this industry has gone through in the last few years, it's really been simply amazing. It's undergone rapid change, and that's in an industry that was already experiencing a fast pace of advancement. And I've learned that technological innovation arrives in waves. Concurrency was a key wave. That is having the ability to manage a large number of concurrent users. That was actually a limitation that NGINX initially solved. There was a limitation of 10,000 users prior to NGINX open source product. And NGINX got people over that 10,000 limit concurrency. And that was actually the birth of NGINX initially. Another wave was the emergence of microservices, the big shift away from those large monolithic applications to the agile development phase that we're all in today. And now an external wave thrust upon us, that is the pandemic, and that's driving development innovation at such incredible pace and driving behavioral changes of our customers. So from then till now, and how a pandemic has accelerated the need for modern applications. And I wanted to share a few examples with you of some amazing customer interactions and work that we've done with companies and governments around the regions, and the changes they've had to make to cater for the huge demands that the pandemic has thrown at us. I'm unable, unfortunately, to share the customers' names with you in such a public environment, but I'm happy to do so as we enter conversations with you one-on-one to give you more detail about these. The pandemic caught governments off guard, as we all know. Who could have been ready for the technology requirements needed to manage not only aspects of the pandemic, but the entire vaccination program associated with that, and to do this in a nation such as India. And the challenge? Build a hugely scalable, secure application that can be deployed down to the citizens' mobile devices in a very short amount of time. The political pressure to get this right was immense, and to get it done with no time to spare. Urgency was paramount, and in actual fact, lives were at risk. The requirement here was to build an application that managed over 10 million individual registrations per day. That is tracking vaccination information, setting appointments, and keeping secure health records of every event, a hugely enormous task. And the solution, using existing cloud infrastructure, deploying ready lightweight auto-scale web server and reverse proxy technology to securely support the applications that they were rolling out. The result was a very successful rollout that is still today supporting an enormous amount of traffic and millions of registrations per day as the vaccination program continues to roll out. And given the time frame required, key to this success was deploying proven and trusted tools that could manage enormous traffic volumes and scale on any cloud-based infrastructure. This was all achieved using NGINX open source project. Truly an amazing achievement. Secondly, linked to the huge demands of the pandemic was a government agency in Southeast Asia that was struggling to manage their tracing application. If you haven't been locking yourself down at home or living in a cave, you've probably been using QR codes and tracing applications every single day. And this huge spike in the scanning and logging of QR codes with an application that was hosted on-prem just proved too much for the demands of that the population were throwing at it. And the importance of being able to trace movements of the population couldn't be understated. The solution couldn't manage the traffic volumes and couldn't auto-scale to meet these demands. So the requirement of this agency was to deploy cloud-based tracing application using a national identity program, using tools that would scale and manage spikes, be platform agnostic, provide security and performance, and be a proven technology for rapid deployment. The outcome was incredible. A quick deployment into AWS from on-prem, using NGINX open source with the customer's existing deployment tools, and with NGINX Plus, the commercial product for rapid and dynamic reconfiguration. Within a few short weeks, the solution was rolled out to the population and remains a reliable tracking system that is used every day today. The demands of consumers during the pandemic had an equally enormous impact in Japan. Japan generally as a nation is cautious in technology changes and advancements, and this included their digital transformation and agile development journey. When the pandemic hit, the need to accelerate this ignited many customers into action. The customer challenge was truly immense. They were hit with numerous outages due to a spike in demand. Their environment delivers content to tens of millions of consumers every few seconds. They were processing payments and shipping packages, all that needed to be processed and tracked in real time, with content delivered to their customers also in real time. The challenge was quite simple in scope, but hugely challenging in the scale that they required. They required fast-paced, hugely scalable traffic routing with thousands of reconfigurations of servers every 10 seconds. Yes, thousands every 10 seconds. On-the-fly reconfiguration was key to this success, including frequent health checks. All this was to service the incredible peak in demand that they were experiencing from their consumers, a lot of which was driven by the change in behavior, in buying behavior, due to the pandemic. NGINX managed to solve these issues. We were already entrenched in their technology stack, but this change required that we integrated with existing tools and dynamically reconfigure a huge number of servers every 10 seconds. In addition, having NGINX deployed offered other advantages, including the removal of a whole layer of technology, giving them better throughput and better utilization of their resources. It also set them up for the next phase, which includes the management of APIs across their immense network. I think almost every consumer in the world has changed the way that they purchase. I certainly have. The demand on applications to support massive growth in online shopping and payments has been truly unprecedented. A customer in India, one of the largest payment gateways, have even pioneered a new sector called mobile fintech and was suddenly presented with a problem, just sheer volume. They had too much latency in their platform and had to remove a layer in order to improve overall performance. In addition, they needed to rapidly scale up and scale down as the volume of online payment transactions exploded. And they needed to do this with automated configuration management. That was their challenge. The need was to do this while constantly changing endpoint configurations using an API, achieving a dynamic reconfiguration to avoid any downtime, and to have visibility in their back-end services and applications and how they were being utilized. To put this into perspective, our customer was clearing millions of payment transactions per hour and needed to scale this by a factor of 10. This was their 6-month outlook, but they needed to build in future scalability. To achieve this, the customer now relies on NGINX and NGINX Plus. Its main advantage, in addition to its robust and proven technology, is its lightweight, extremely high performance, and API-friendly features. They've removed a layer of technology and reduced significant latency. They've built in future scalability and application security. Only 1 year ago, this customer had not forecasted these volumes at all and didn't know they needed to provide for such volumes. Today, they are catering for all the peaks in demands and have a platform on which to scale for future demand. Great, so you've heard about the customers that I've just run through, but to give us more context about customers' adoption to rapid change in technology, we have Kun Damrongsak with us today, Chief Cybersecurity Officer at MFEC, Thailand's leading systems integrator, and an active F5 and NGINX value-added partner. In fact, Kun Damrongsak has been hosting and presenting in the NGINX Thai user group meetups, which has been a great success for us. So welcome, Kun Damrongsak, Swadikap, and thank you for joining us here today.
Swadikap, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to join NGINX Sprint.
Oh, thank you for your time. Sorry.
Tell you about the story in Thailand during the pandemic. In Thailand, the Thai government announced to lock down all of the country. We can't go anywhere, but we still going the same. We still have to work. We still have to live, but everything locked down. For Thai government, they announced some government assistant to Thai people. They have many systems for provide the assistance for Thai. That's provide many software to adoption in Thailand, also including the registration for vaccine. That program used to register for government assistance and also the payment. That's why every Thai people use that software to pay everything that they want to buy. that it accelerated the cashless society in Thailand. You know, we can't believe that we can have the cashless society in Thailand. It's not easy to adoption the Thai people, but now I can say the cashless society is not so far. That means there's so many software to drive the cashless society that accelerated the modern software in Thailand. For in the other example in Thailand, for MFEC, we try to push the telemedicine to sell the solution, but we can't. During the pandemic, we implement that the telemedicine in a few months. That's why the pandemic accelerated everything in Thailand. For the high demand application, and the business is changed rapidly. We need the software that can more adopt, can change, can support the business change. That's why we need the modern application. In the other hand, that show that why in Thailand we need modern app. For overall industry, for overall economic, it's go down. But the IT industry in Thailand is grow. That's why we need more application to drive the business in Thailand. That is the situation for modern application in Thailand.
Yeah, that's great. Great to hear it from a Thai perspective. Thank you so much. And in fact, we're seeing that trend across many countries in Asia Pacific as well. And thank you for being part of the NGINX community in Thailand. It means a lot to us, and I'm sure it means a lot to all the developers in Thailand as well. Thank you very much for that. So, okay, and please enjoy the rest of the conference, Kun Damrongsak. As you can see, with all these customers, there is commonality here. Organizations working at pace to cater for the huge surges in demand and changing customer expectations, all while modernizing their application. I guess it's a bit like, you know, fixing a rocket or an airplane while you're flying in it. You can't stop and rebuild it. You have to fix it while you're in motion. The NGINX application delivery platform using NGINX open source and NGINX commercial products can play a big key part in this process. So up next is something you really don't want to miss. It's a panel discussion with Rob Whiteley and two of our customers, Burz, an engineer who's the founder of PhonePay, and Sumit Malhotra, who's the CIO of Times Internet. And that will be moderated by Joe Green from TechWire Asia. I know both Burz and Sumit and how advanced they are in their application development of the entire technology stack. So I can assure you this will be a very interesting and engaging panel discussion. So please stay tuned. And if you're a tech enthusiast, please catch the breakout sessions after the keynotes today by heading over to the breakout rooms where our application delivery experts will be showing live demos from open source to microservices to APIs. There's a lot of good information there for you. We have breakout rooms also available in multi-languages as well. So when you're looking for the breakout room, please check if there's one in your local language as well. So thanks again for joining us today. Have a great Sprint 2.1 experience. We're honored to have you here in our first APAC Sprint session. Thanks very much.